Well, we've got a wonderful guest now, Arundhati Bhattacharya, former chairperson of the State Bank of India, somebody who I've interacted with extensively over the last several years. It's great to have you on this program and speak to you. In this pandemic, opportunities in urban areas, particularly in the services sector, has really gone down, hasn't it? There are hardly any opportunities now for quite a while. What do you think can be done to augment incomes and opportunities in rural India beyond only agriculture? Of course, there is agriculture, but something that can be sustainable in the rural economy beyond agriculture itself.
So, in the rural economy, we definitely need to go beyond just agriculture. And it's something that I've been saying for a long time. Because, if you look at agricultural income normally comes in a kind of a bunch. So if you're, farming, say, for sugarcane, you'll get your money once a year. And then you have to properly husband it across the entire year in order to ensure that you have a proper lifestyle. And we know that where there is a lot more demand than income, it's difficult to husband cash. What are the income streams that we are seeing in the services area? So there are things like coaching classes, there are things like salons, there are things like eating places, there are things like providing food, catering for food to the houses. So there are all kinds of other activities that you can think about doing. And definitely I think there also could be, because in the rural areas there's a lot of construction that is going on, whether it be roads, whether it be in the villages, the houses, the upkeep of the ponds, the upkeep of the water courses, the check dams. There is a lot that is going on over there. So, to become part of that, I think is very necessary. We also see, even in the urban areas, we see a huge deficit of just skills such as plumbing skills, carpentry, electricians, repair skills. So, there are lots of skills which don't really need you to become a graduate in order to get that skill.
Right. Arundhati Bhattacharya, we all know you're one of the finest bankers and you have a reputation for having an immense knowledge of finance. Can you explain to us a little bit how financial institutions, banks, etc., how to use technology to simplify, to get money to the villages, without human intervention? I would like to go one step further. One thing is to get it to the village or to a small town. The other is to get it from the town, from the teller to the person. I go on a lot of these election trips and I've met many men and women. I'll give you an example. One widow who told me, yes, the money is in my bank, I get 1,000 rupees a month, it comes electronically, but when I go to the teller, he says, if you want your 1,000 rupees, you have to give me 500. So we took her into the bank and we asked the teller, what is this? And then they said, speak to the bank manager. We spoke to the bank manager, and just as the key moment came, the line got cut. So one thing is to get the money to a bank, the other is not the last mile, the last 6 feet. How does one stop problems occurring at that point?
Okay. So one, of course, is, we should try and limit human intervention as much as possible. Today, for instance, just in order to take out money, you don't need to go to a bank. You can go to a ATM. Right. And, there are sufficient ways for us to teach these people how to operate an ATM. So I think what the government also did when it did the PMJDY, it insisted, that we issue cards. Okay. And actually that entire exercise became quite expensive because of the carding that we did. Okay. Right. Now, the problem with the cards is I am perfectly fine to give the cards. But at the end of the day, if it's an illiterate person, what that person is going to do is to hand over the card to a tout. And in fact, for us, our instructions are that when a person who's illiterate comes into the bank and is putting their thumbprint and taking the money, as per the standard operating process, I am supposed to speak out loud and tell them ki Baba aapko 500 rupiya diya. Why? Because he's got a tout to fill up that, and he's asked for 200 rupees. The tout has filled it up for 500 and is going to walk away with it. But you know, at the end of the day, the only way that this can come about is literacy. In fact, you know, a lot of people have often asked me the question, what is the cure of our ills, you know, of the country? And I have a one-word answer for that, and that is education.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अपनी राय रखने के लिए, और ख़ास तौर से शिक्षा कितनी अहम है जो आपने कहा।